Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody, to the Blitzburg Coverage Podcast. I am your host, K Freaking Mac. Back at it once again. Start a new season. Season 3, Episode 1. It's been about a month since we've done one of these things. And boy, oh boy, is there a lot to talk about now that it's a new season. Super Bowl's over. And I think the Combine's in 2 weeks. So let's dive right in. Talk about where we stand as of today. So as of today, the Steelers have many changes coming. Turnover on the offensive side of the ball, a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. Tomlin promised there'd be changes. There have not been any changes. We lost our inside linebackers coach. I think we might have lost our defensive back coach, and then we brought in our secondary coach from the Raiders, and we retained Pat Meyer, offensive line coach, who sucks. Hasn't really developed any of the linemen we've taken. So, yeah, all bark, no bite. But we have a lot of turnover coming, as I mentioned, starting off on the offensive side of the ball. Russ and Fields are both free agents. Art Rooney mentioned they're interested in both, but they're probably only going to sign one, and the other will leave. Not sure who that's going to be, but that's going to tell me a lot based on who they sign and how they feel about the outlook for the next 2 years. I believe if they sign Russ, they really think in their minds they can win now, try to go to the playoffs, and do something. Is that realistic? No. Russ is probably going to cost more. And I mean, he's just older, He's probably going to cost more. And, no offense to Russ. It just didn't work out the last month of the season. We played good with him. We had some bad games. What the fuck's going on? Hold on. Okay. The program was just acting weird. But I would just go with Fields. Russ doesn't really offer mobility at this point in his career, which was something that Tomlin mentioned. They were really, going to take into consideration his QB mobility, just because with the new way football is played, got to have a quarterback that can move somewhat. I think Fields is the better option. You give him a 2-year deal, maybe 2 years, $30 million. Try to put some players around him. Maybe give him some players to work with, unlike last year's offense. And see what Fields can do. And don't play him on a fucking leash. Don't fucking play him like he's some fucking rookie, Let the guy sling it and wing it. Let him play his game. And don't fucking manage him on such a short leash. And see what he can bring. If it doesn't work out, then in 2 years, the draft will be in Pittsburgh. Maybe you trade up for someone, because I don't see any quarterbacks in this draft personally that I like. The only good one may be Shedeur Sanders, who's going to be probably gone within the top 5 picks. And I don't really want us to trade up for a quarterback, because this roster isn't just a QB away. There's many positions, and I'd rather not waste draft capital on one position. Even though quarterback is important, I like Fields more than Shedeur Sanders. As it stands as of today, I know what Justin Fields is more than Shedeur Sanders. So let's just keep it there. If they go with Fields, they give him a couple years and just draft the BPA and let the chips where they may. At the running back position, Najee Harris is probably gone. I think this was a move known well ahead of time, considering they didn't pick up his 5th-year option last offseason, which I was pretty pissed about. I would have definitely signed him for another year, just so we're not coming into the draft with needs. But he's a free agent. He's probably going to command a decent contract, 3 or 4 year deal. I like Naj, but we're probably better off without him. Just a good, durable, reliable player. 3 or 4 yards a carry. Doesn't really offer much as far as big plays go. Can catch the ball, but we didn't really throw him the football a whole lot. Doesn't fumble the ball. Not injury prone. I don't really think he's really missed any games in his career. Doesn't fumble. Kind of slow, but, he's reliable. You know what you're getting with him. Jaylen Warren is a restricted free agent. I think they're going to bring him back. Cannot lose both of them, or we're looking at an entire new backfield. And Jaylen Warren, I think, is a good change of pace back, but I definitely think we need to bring in another running back. I don't think he's capable of touching the ball 20-plus times a game. I think he'll get worn out over time, whether it be with injuries, and has a little more or less ball control as far as fumbles, and the more touches he gets, the more prone he is to fumbles. I like his game, though. He's a great change of pace back, a good RB2. I think we bring him back. Then we move on to the receivers. Mike Williams, he's probably gone. We didn't even use him. Van Jefferson, who was our wide receiver too, quote unquote, really didn't do a whole lot. Couldn't create separation. Had a couple nice plays, but nothing that warrants him being brought back. Scotty Miller, a wide receiver 4/3 at best. Doesn't offer much. He's good as gone. Ben Skoranek, I like him on special teams. I would definitely bring him back. High effort player and was a good gunner on special teams for sure. Michael Pruitt, tight end 4/3. See ya. Dan Moore Jr., left tackle for the past 3 or 4 seasons. He's good as gone. See ya. Don't want him. He sucks. Calvin Anderson, a backup tackle, swing kind of guy. I'd consider bringing him back. Ryan McCollum, probably just a good center/guard depth. Would bring him back potentially. James Daniels, unfortunately, missed all of last year due to injury, which thrusted Mason McCormick back into starting lineup as a rookie, 4th rounder. I would definitely consider bringing James Daniels back if you can get him at a good price. I feel like he was playing well for the first 3 or 4 weeks before he suffered an injury, unfortunately. Unless you're confident in Mason McCormick, but I'd probably sign James Daniels back if you can. Nate Herbig was supposedly the center last year up until he suffered that season-ending injury. He had never played center before. He's probably just a depth piece at best. I don't know if you bring him back. Probably not. So that's it for the offensive side. You're looking at linemen, receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks, running backs. A lot of turnover probably there is coming. Defensively, Isaiah Loudermilk, a player we traded up for in the draft a couple years ago, really never panned out or developed. He's good as gone. See ya. Jeremiah Moon, outside linebacker, 3/4. See ya. He's gone. Atlanta Roberts, inside linebacker. I would definitely bring him back. Good run stopper. Not the best player in pass coverage, but considering the division we play in, run first mantra with the Ravens, Browns, Bengals, they're more of a throw first kind of team, but just considering how teams play, still running the ball somewhat, Atlanta Roberts is a really good player at stuffing the run. I would definitely bring him back for sure and keep that inside linebacker room of Atlanta Roberts, Peyton Wilson, Patrick Queen, and hopefully Cole Holcomb can play next year. Inside linebacker, Tyler Matkovich, Dirty Red, quote unquote. Doesn't really, used to be a good special teams player, but really didn't do a whole lot last year. He's good as gone. Damontae Kazee, backup safety. I wouldn't be mad if they lost him. Wouldn't care if they signed him. He can go. Dante Jackson, our cornerback 2. Very inconsistent. Had a lot of injuries last year that would flare up. The back injuries. Just little things. Kind of bad in tackling towards the later half of the season. If the price is right, I'm not mad at it, but I'm not mad if we get someone else, or maybe see what Corey Trice Jr. has in store, even though he's probably an injury-prone player as well, but he's younger, might offer more upside, bigger length, bigger frame, all that stuff. Cam Sutton, our cornerback 3/nickelback. See ya. I don't want nothing to do with him. He sucked last year. Why we started him over Benny Bishop the second half of the year, no idea. C.J. Henderson, former first-round pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's good as gone. He's not that good. James Pierre was a decent depth piece, a good special teams kind of player. I would probably bring him back just for special teams, just let alone. And yeah, that's a lot of free agents. That's all of our free agents this year. As far as cap space, you're looking at $40 million to work with. Though you're probably going to lose some of that because T.J. Watt is in his last year of his contract, and I know he's in his 30s, but we're not going to let him go. We're not going to let T.J. Watt go. So you're probably going to look at extending him. As far as team needs / positions, I have, as of today, for me, wide receiver, in no particular order, just in my opinion, top 3 priorities to me are wide receiver, defensive line, and cornerback. Apparently, at the Senior Bowl, they were really looking a lot at defensive linemen, which would not surprise me in the slightest, considering our defensive line is not that good. You would think it would be, considering our front 4 consists of T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi / Keanu Benton, and then Alex Highsmith. But you look at the last 3 or 4 games, the defensive line got worked, and the run game, we just got mauled, physically beaten up. So I definitely think we need to look at defensive line there. Keanu Benton's a decent defensive tackle, a young, promising kind of player, but I thought he was going to show more improvement in his game last year. Cam Hayward had a great season last year, but he's like 36 years old. Larry Ogunjobi sucks. He can go. He costs too much money as well. And then behind them, Dean Lowry, DeMarvin Leal, Isaiah Loudermilk. Logan Lee didn't even play last year, so there's nobody really there. So I definitely think defensive line needs to be addressed. I expect it to be addressed. Andy Weddle, former Eagles GM, assistant, whatever, is with Omar Khan. They've spent a lot of work in the trenches the past 2 off-seasons / drafts. Whether it be offensive line or defensive line, I definitely think they're going to look to hopefully address that area. Wide receiver, no doubt, has to be a concern as well. With pending free agents, George Pickens is a ticking time bomb. He's probably going to be good as gone in 2 years, though they might franchise tag him in 2 years, but we need another wide receiver. We absolutely need another wide receiver to help, man. And whether that's trading for Cooper Kupp, who we're the hands-on favorite for, or Deebo Samuel, I'm not sure what to make of those moves. Deebo Samuel's would be a nice gadget player. He's had a lot of touches, though, especially in that San Fran system, whether it's running the ball, receiving the ball. But depending on what we gave up for him, I wouldn't be mad at it. I think he'd be a good wide receiver 3/2. Cooper Kupp would be nice, but again, an older, aging player. Depending on what we gave up for him, I would be happy or mad. It'd be a good move for sure. He's a veteran. Would be a nice slot receiver for sure. But again, what does he have left? And injuries are concerning. Then you look at another need. We're going to have Calvin Austin, who's a nice receiver, 3 or 4. Roman Wilson didn't even play last year, so we're going to hopefully get to see what he can bring this year. But again, he's a rookie. And let's just address all the free agents and trades and all that. We're the hands-on favorite for Matthew Stafford, trading for him supposedly. Hands-on favorite supposedly for Aaron Rodgers. We're supposed to get all these players, but we're not going to do any of these moves. You people understand that? Like, the people in the media outlets, we don't do that. We're not going to trade for Aaron Rodgers. We're not going to trade for Matthew Stafford. We might trade for Deebo or Cooper Kupp, but my gut tells me no. Why would we? Omar Khan definitely wants to make some moves, but we have a lot of cap space. Maybe we'll go that route. I don't know. But I would rather, if we're going to trade for a Cooper Kupp, that signifies we're trying to win now, but we're not built to win now. Would anybody really think if the playoffs started next week, we could beat a Buffalo or a Kansas City or a Baltimore? Fuck no. We just got our asses beat. I wouldn't feel good in that. So if you're trading for a player like Cooper Kupp, who's on the later years of his career, it makes no sense to me the more I think about it, because that's a win now kind of move. We're not ready to win now. We're not just a receiver away. We can't even run the ball. So And my final need for us is cornerback. We definitely need a cornerback for sure. Whether that's in the slot or a nickelback, I think we definitely need one of those. Whether it's addressing free agency or maybe an outside corner. I like Joey Porter Jr., but he definitely has some shit to work on. Corey Trice Jr. showed some promise, but again, injury prone. Benny Bishop, I thought, played decent for a young rookie. I mean, I think he was the first ever undrafted rookie starting for us in history, so that says a lot. Maybe he takes a year or two leap. Maybe not. I don't know. And then outside of that, there's really no other cornerbacks to make mention of. So I definitely think cornerback needs to be addressed. Especially playing in our division of all the receivers we have to worry about, whether that's Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, whether or not he goes back to the Bengals, Jerry Jeudy with the Browns, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, just players that other teams have that we don't. And, winning games starts off winning your division and kind of putting your pieces in place to beat them. So I definitely need another cornerback. I mean, when you're playing good quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, got to have somebody to actually guard these guys. So that's what I'm saying. Defensive line and cornerback, you got to get after the quarterback and need players to actually guard the opposing skill position players. But the problem is, you can have the right players, but if the schematics aren't right, it doesn't fucking matter. When we're playing off coverage, fucking 6-7 yards off the ball, and you expect your pass rush to just rush forward and drop 7 in coverage, and you're not going to change up the way you're playing, it doesn't fucking matter. And that's what happened down the second half of the season. We didn't throw any exotic looks. We didn't throw any schematic, nothing different. We didn't blitz. We didn't do anything. And it's like, this used to be Blitzburg. We used to send motherfuckers. You would throw errant mistakes or make errant mistakes, and you wouldn't know who the fuck's coming and who the fuck's staying. But now it's become so vanilla. Whether that's Tomlin, probably Terrell Austin, his hand's got to be in there. The sack numbers have gone way down, but I will say, in his defense, we have gotten a lot of turnovers the past 3 years, so that's awesome for sure. We had one of the best takeaway numbers in the league, so that's good to see. But yeah, I don't know. As it stands today, there's going to be a lot of turnover, a lot of change on the offensive side of the ball. If Russ and Fields both leave, I don't know where you go. I pray to God we don't draft the quarterback in the first round. So all the fucking media outlets out there putting out first round quarterbacks for Pittsburgh. Didn't you guys see we just did that a few years ago with Kenny Pickett and how that has literally set us back years with that fucking move? There were so many better players there we could have taken, but whatever. That's my worst nightmare. We take a quarterback in the first round. I pray to God we don't. I don't think we will. I think we'll sign Russ or Fields. I would much rather sign Russ or Fields. And if Russ or Fields don't sign here, I'll sign Mason Rudolph and fucking tank. That's where I'm at personally, because we're not ready to go win the Super Bowl. But somehow Tomlin will find a way to get us to 9 wins. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of change. You have receivers going for sure. A couple offensive line players probably leaving. One of the quarterbacks is going. One of the running backs is definitely going. You're not going to keep both of them. So if we kept Naj, I'd be happy with it, but I don't think they're going to do it. And then the defensive side of the ball, you might lose Roberts. You might lose some depth pieces. You might lose a couple starters in Jackson and Sutton. But I'm not mad because it didn't work last year. And, we'll see. It's only the beginning of the offseason. We still have free agency, combine, the draft. So I'll keep in touch with y'all. And if any big news happens with us doing trades or, free agency starts in March, I want to say. But this was our first podcast in about a month. So I'll stay in touch with y'all. I can't really give any specific dates, but we will definitely talk as the free agency period develops and happens. But that's it for me. Hope you all enjoyed this episode of the Blitzburg Coverage Podcast, episode number 71 in the book, season 3, episode 1. New season. It's only February 11th, a couple days after the Super Bowl. And, yeah, we are, I don't know, man. But we'll get there when we get there. Hope you all enjoyed the weekend. Hope you all enjoyed the Super Bowl. And we're heading out this thing. Peace out.